Hello everybody, welcome to ECA conference in Split. As Luca said before, today we will present you a short overview and key facts that lead to foundation of our Hajduk association as socials model, and also we will present a role, model and challenges of our Hajduk project. For better understanding, it is important to show situation in which was club since mid-1990s. Year 1995 was the year of club's last big success. That year Hajduk played quarter-final of UEFA Champions League. That year Hajduk won National Cup and Championship, and everything was good, but club met some financial problems, and very soon bank account of club was blocked in the year 1996. Hajduk started to stagnate and to lose their own values. So in 2001, some private investors, 4 former club's players, invested their own money in the club. But in next few years shows that governance and vision was not quality done. There is no quality vision, there is no quality strategy, and the huge debt was done. So in next few years, club was going into bankruptcy. This was the reason that Hajduk started process of conversion from a citizen association to a joint stock company. Okay, the joint stock company. It was according to Croatian law and supported by politics. Now, new private investments invest their money into the club, and everybody believed that this could be a new beginning for the club. And this beginning for the club should follow by some progress, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen because all problems from the beginning are stayed. Nobody solved that problems. At year 2009, recapitalization was done, and the city of Split became the major owner of the club. In those periods, there was a strong influence of politics and nepotism in the club. Even supervisory board and management board was delegated by politics. In those years, there is no reforms in governments and management. There is no adaptation of new market circumstances that are on the circumstances on the market during the global financial crisis. And once again, there was lack of vision, lack of strategy, lack of transparency. Leadership focused on the short term and expecting that someone else will solve their problems somewhere in the future. So the club went into debt again, and it was again very close to bankruptcy. This was the breaking point for the club. But while club was falling down, supporters became stronger and stronger. Although club in that period had occasionally some success, supporters recognized that Hajduk had problem with vision and strategy, and that Hajduk cannot fulfill its potential. So Torcida, as the supporters groups of Hajduk Split, which is, by the way, the oldest supporters group in Europe, founded in 1950, start to raise their voice. They recognize problems, start to raise their voice by seeking the transparency, searching for their answers and responsibility from the leadership of the club. They organize protest demonstrations and performance. Even they put banners on football matches with some message, on home or away message. Torcida during that year also organized petition. It was very successful petition. It was signed by more than 30,000 people. A codex was created. Codex is a document representing a set of values by which Hajduk should be governed. Those set of values are, for example, like competences, main prerequisite for governments, vision and strategy of development, morality, transparency, independence of government, and the preservance of club strategy, club tradition and honor. Interesting point is also that that document was praised by Transparency International, and it was identified as a blueprint for other state-owned companies. But leaders of the club and leaders of the city was refused to accept such a document. But Torcida insisted on it, and finally Codex became the part of club statute until year 2010. Until the year 2011, supporters were well organized, and next level as the crown of their activism and alternative to previous model was project Our Hajduk. Project was presented to democratic elections of members of the supervisory board. Since club idea was of Naš Hajduk became because supporters recognized that Hajduk had no problem with ownership. Hajduk had problem with governance. So the main idea of our Hajduk project was to propose a new model for governments of the club. Since club was on the bottom with huge debt and one step to bankruptcy, political authorities gave up on the club and offered Torcida to delegate their representatives in the club directly. But Torcida refused such an offer and insisted on transparent and democratic elections. It marked the beginning of our Hajduk project. After that, there was several meetings with the city of the Split, and finally the project was accepted by the Council of the City of Split on July 15, 2011. Late that year, in November, a first democratic elections for supervisory board was held, and all members of the club had right to vote. Okay, thank you. Luca will continue now.
Okay, so as Ante said, in 2011, basically, the Naš Hajduk project started in a sense that we had scheduled first elections, and in 2011, Hajduk gained a new supervisory board elected by members. It is somehow important to say here that it was the year when we were celebrating 100 years of the foundation of the Hajduk. And that year somehow marked end of one period and start of a new period for Hajduk. As Ante said, in previous years, Hajduk was falling, but the supporters were rising and becoming more organized and started to identify the real problems that Hajduk was facing, and that is the not just ownership, but the governance and the values by which the club is managed. So the situation that was found in 2011 by new supervisory board and new CEO, basically there were huge debts. Hajduk was living on a debt, on a loan. There were no annual budget, no prediction about income and things like that. There were more than 100 court cases that Hajduk was involved. For basically, what were these court cases? Hajduk was not paying his ex-players, his ex-coaches, employees, and basically all these court cases were also a risk that new debts will pop up and that Hajduk was really on the verge of bankruptcy and end of existence. So there were no clear responsibilities in the club, problems with employees that were that didn't have correct expertise and things like that. Insignificant revenues from the merchandising, basically no income from that part. Bad infrastructure, no bad field, bad academy. Stadium was not in a good shape. And what was especially worrying us that membership was completely neglected. Hajduk has lost his database of all members from the previous years and things like that. So things started to change in these 7 years that we have our socios model. First, our focus of Hajduk was on finances, because when you are in this situation like Hajduk is, sport results are not your primary goal, because when you are sick, you first want to get better before you can compete with the others. So financial situation in Hajduk, this picture is showing a trend during the years when we implemented our socios model. So you can see from 2010 until 2015, Hajduk was still generating losses. because all these huge debts that were coming to be paid, they generated a situation that Hajduk could not be a profitable club. Hajduk had a very difficult time in this period. Basically, any court case could lead that club is going to the bankruptcy. The worst situation was in 2012 when Hajduk, at the beginning of the season, was not permitted even to play in official games. So they were playing in the banners. It was that kind of bad situation. But steadily, Hajduk was starting to become more and more financially stable club. And in 2016 and 2017, we may say that we have finally reached financial stability, and now it is a time for next steps, for let's say new processes in the club to start to new investment cycles and things like that. Here you can see the number of that court cases that I was telling to you. So in 2012 there were 94 court cases that Hajduk was involved, and in 2014 it was bring down to 8. Why this is important? Because this is the changing of the paradigm how club was managed. Because in the past every management was focused on the short-term goals, and he was leaving the problems to the new management that will come after. So now we are focused on the long-term goals and sustainability. In the same time, with the support of Naš Hajduk Association, the number of members of the club was constantly rising. We have reached our peak in 2016 with almost 44,000 members. Why this year was that much peaked? Because it was also a year when we started our crowdfunding actions, when we decided as a Naš Hajduk Association that we want to buy shares and become also owners of the shares of the club. And this was, and by membership, this was one of the ways how to achieve it. So basically, how did we achieve it? As I said, Hajduk was not previously socio-owned club. This was the first time that those who really cared the most about the club had the opportunity to choose 7 of 9 members of the supervisory board. And the club members were focused really to choose the right people. And the values that we're trying to recognize in them were basically that they will work for the benefit of the club, not their personal interest. They were focused about their expertise and things that they were doing in their past, and that they have a good name, let's say. There was really huge demand from supporters to bring Hajduk back to his core values. Hajduk has a slogan, Hajduk lives forever, Hajduk živi vječno. But in these years, Hajduk was really on the verge of extinction, and we believe that one of the reasons was because Hajduk has lost his core values. And his core values that we see are transparency and responsibilities, that everybody in the club are working for the interest of the club. So during this period, there was a great care of supporters. So supporters were basically on everyday base following what is happening in the club, because this supervisory board was their supervisory board, and they wanted to feel that they are the right people, and they wanted to believe to them, but they were also monitoring them, what are they doing. And this is the reason why we also believe that Hajduk will live forever, because with this membership Socios Model Club, members will always track what is happening in the club. What is special in our Socios model? So we have our Socios model is basically a result of what we could do with the situation that we had. So we are somewhere in between, let's say, Regal 50+1 and Socios model. So we don't have complete implementation like in Germany or in, I don't know, Spain or Portugal. We are not electing CEO. We are electing supervisory board, which is somehow which is representing and monitoring the club for the members. And we are using, for instance, General Assembly in a way of monitoring club operations. So we are very focused and demanding full transparency from the club in this General Assembly. There is also one informal discussion that we are occasionally and periodically having with the members of the supervisory board and members of the management, and that is called Čakula. That is Croatian word which means chit-chat or discussion between friends, I would say. And it is a place where every member of the club has opportunity to ask, for instance, Mr. Kos or Mr. Branko, questions that are somehow showing the situation in club, either finance or for instance, sport vision and things like that. They are very popular, and a lot of members like to come to Čakula to ask people. Okay. So this story of our Hajduk association is now going beyond football. So we have become an association that has a huge number of members, but also huge number of volunteers who are joining our association. We have around 50 volunteers that are basically on every day working for association, but there is a huge network of other volunteers also in other parts of Croatia that are also supporting the association. We had more than 100 public educational workshops. Why this is important? Socios is a new thing in Croatia. We are pioneering this model. People were lacking trust in Hajduk. Hajduk derogated the values during the years, and people lost faith in Hajduk. So we needed to bring back this faith in this model. That somebody is willing to work for not his personal benefit, but he's willing to work for the benefit of the club. We often get the questions, what is the catch? You are all volunteers, but what is the catch? Where is the money? There is no money. We are all volunteers. We are all working this for the benefit of the club. So volunteers are coming from all social classes, different political views, different religions, even nationalities. We are all working for the benefit of the club. We are coming mostly from the highly educated, let's say, background. As I said, in 2016 we managed to achieve a peak in membership. It was around 43,000 people in members. In this year we are now, it is 10th of April, we are today around 30,000. So we are hoping that this year we will even break this record. As I said, we are going beyond the football. We are also impacting the society. We have started in 2016 with our campaign to buy shares of Hajduk, and we have been elected as the best crowdfunding campaign in Croatia for 2016 and 2016. We also understand that the problems that Hajduk is facing are not just the problems that Hajduk is facing. The other clubs in Croatia are also facing similar problems. We wanted to lobby to political parties so that they bring a new law on sport, which has some changes, which are basically trying to implement that this level of transparency that Hajduk is achieving is achieved in complete sport, and that people with criminal background should not be part of the sport and things like that. So we managed to, with lobbying to political parties, this law is now has went through Croatian Parliament, and we are still fighting that it is also implemented and that it's working in sport. We are increasing knowledge of financial, political and media literacy. Basically, when we started as a supporters, we liked football. We were just watching the football, but during this process we have somehow become lawyers, financials and things like that, because everything this is a part of activity that you need to have when you have a socios club. We also applied for the European Union projects for funding of organizations, so we also achieved this goal. So in this year we successfully applied for one of the projects, and somehow this is maybe a strong statement, but we are becoming a showcase of social activism in our country. We are becoming the lighthouse. The example of Hajduk really inspires the other citizens for solving other problems in society. We have a lot of these kind of problems, and now we have an example where somebody can be successful when you can organize and succeed. What are the challenges of Naš Hajduk? So basically, Hajduk is becoming more and more financially stable club, but people who don't share our values are somewhere around. So we want to make our model very stable, and there is one really secure way how to do it, and that is to buy shares. We have managed to acquire around 25% of the club, buying it from the private investor. It is a contract that is a 10-year contract, so we have to pay a bill every year. It is divided, this number, 35 million kunas, that is around 4.75 million euros. It is divided by 10 years, and we have to pay a yearly fee. And we have managed to pay last year. It was by this successful crowdfunding action with, that you can see in this picture on the left. It is basically a shirt of the Hajduk, third shirt that has inscription of the donators that donated to our goal to buy these shares. And we have started a new project this year, and that is, you can see on the right, that is a memorial park that will be placed just behind the stadium. It is also the place where all people who donate money to this project of buying the shares will have their name written. As you can see, the inscription in this monument is Hajduk, but it is made from the different pieces that only from one point are showing the name Hajduk. From all other points it shows a different shapes. So it somehow represents this from this chaotic situation to the order and the structure that we believe Naš Hajduk has made in the club. Our biggest challenges are, of course, to attract the right people. We are basically depending, as every club, on right people. What is especially important for us is supervisory board. So we want to improve our election process. We want to attract a higher number of superior candidates in the future, of course, and improve the quality of their presentation to really give opportunity that candidates have a real chance to present themselves so that we understand who is really the best candidate for Hajduk. And of course, during this process of 4 years of their mandate, how to assess their work. These are the things that we still need somehow to define. Finally, what is the role of Naš Hajduk? As I said, we have a couple of roles. Currently, we are organizing elections. We are also now becoming a shareholder. In the future, how we see our role? Basically, we are the guardian of this socios model. We want to protect it, and that is our primary role. We are doing this by buying shareholders, becoming a shareholder, but also protecting club from others who would like maybe to come with different vision of the club. What is also important, I think that Slaven also mentioned it in his presentation, we want to ensure there are people in supervisory board are coming from different backgrounds and with different maybe vision. We want to ensure that the implementation of Hajduk long-term strategic plan is somehow a common goal, so that Hajduk can fulfill his potentials. So that is the reason why we really believe that this strategy is a good way how we can work on long-term goals. So at the end, basically I'm coming back to the origins. We want to ensure this integrity, expertise, responsibility and transparency as a values that Hajduk will always live on. Okay, thank you.
First of all, I'd like to thank Luca for the presentation, and also to mention that Naš Hajduk is a partner, so thanks for making quite extensive, actually, presentation. But this is also the occasion for you to ask questions if you have any questions to Luca. Again, you are not warm up enough. There will be a coffee break, so I hope you will be better afterwards. But then I have a question for you, Luca, because you mentioned several aspects, and one of the key stakeholders is, of course, the city of Split. Yes. And could you explain the relation you have with the city of Split in itself? Thank you.
Yes, so basically in this process in 2009, city of Split has become a major shareholder by transponding the debts that Hajduk had toward the city. They were becoming a shares that city owned. So currently, city of Split is owner of 65% of the club. In the same time, when also Ante mentioned, when city of Split didn't have any alternative how to rule, how to govern the club, they gave this possibility to Torcida to elect supervisory board in their name. So basically, currently we have 25% as a Naš Hajduk, so we are electing basically 2 members of the supervisory board as owners of 25%, and we are also electing 7 members from this quota of the city, because city as a major shareholder gave this right to us based on the good results that we are achieving.
All right, thanks. No more questions? Okay, good. So let's have a 20-minute break.
So there is also one important moment, and that is that in Hajduk statute there is also now a rule that any supervisory board member should be elected on elections. It cannot be directly put by the town. So in any case, any representative coming from the town should be elected on elections.
Okay. Thank you very much.